Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Dude, I Want That Job, the inspirational podcast where we help you find your desires and passions through other people's work-life experiences. My name is Kyle Kindle, and we are here with Mr. Blake Baker. What's going on, brother?
Not much, brother. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Oh, dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. For everyone viewing this right now, we actually went 7 minutes into our podcast before I realized that I didn't even record, so we're just running it back. I know a little bit more about him now that I can share on this intro, but yeah, bro, so you work for EXP, and before that, you were at Remax, and you specialize in residential and commercial real estate.
Yeah.
How long you been doing that?
So I'll just kind of give you my backstory.
Yeah, I'd love it.
From, live in League City now, from Pasadena. Started in real estate with Remax in 2016. I'm going on 8 years in the business. I actually just left Remax in July of this year, so I just made the move to EXP Realty. I went from a sales agent and actually got my broker's license earlier this year. So big changes kind of, I was at an office in Pasadena, but I live here now. I moved down to South Shore. I just got my signed a lease on my brand new office in South Shore Harbor in the Ineos building there.
Okay.
So my office literally overlooks the marina, and really trying to just expand in this market and service this area the best I can.
I love it, man. So next thing you got to do, at least at the bare minimum, is get a membership at the fitness center.
All right, I did that yesterday, actually.
Oh, let's go, dude. What time do you usually go?
I'm usually a morning guy. It depends on the situation with my son.
Sure.
If I have to wait for the nanny to show up, I got to pass him off to her. But I like to get in the gym early, dude. Like usually 8 a.m. at the latest.
Mhm.
So, but today I'll be in there like probably 4. Probably catch the crowd.
Yeah, I was doing some snooping on your Instagram and went down a ways, and I remember you talking something about how you like to run. You're an active runner.
Yeah.
What kind of runner are you? A long distance? Do you like to just do like a mile and like call it good, like just to keep your cardiovascular system going, or what's your routine?
I have a very toxic relationship with running.
Same.
Right now, my running routine is every time I go to the gym, I run a minimum of 2 miles on the treadmill. And I'm not the guy that's I'm not running 6-minute miles.
You're not egoing it. Yeah.
No, I'm working into, I did a half marathon 2 years ago, but I trained the complete wrong way. I ended up getting some knee issues. So right now my whole goal is to just build my base back up. So I'm running like nothing sexy, dude, like 10, 11, 12-minute miles, just getting my base down. And then I'm going to start, hitting longer runs on the weekend. So I do short trainings during the week, low heart rate. And then, dude, a normal training long run for me is like 6 to 10 miles, somewhere in there. So
It's impressive.
Yeah. As long as you go slow, man, anybody can run those distances. It's really not anything. I used to be like, wow, I could never run that far. But if you keep your heart rate down, you can do it.
Yeah, you're right. Staying in that zone, that's been my biggest issue. I've been getting back into running because I was training for the Austin Marathon, and my buddy was like, "Oh, dude, you should do it with me." I'm like, "I hate running." He's like, "Just do it." And so I was like, "All right, you know what? This is gonna be really cool. I'm definitely gonna do this." And so I was training for about 2.5 months, only to run off a curb and twist my ankle, and I broke my my bone like right here.
Oh no!
Just from a curb, man. Like I just twisted my foot and just like landed full speed on it, dude. I was down for like 3 months in a boot, and just it was bad. And then from there, it's horrible because I was in the position finally to where I was like, dude, I like running. Running is actually sick.
There's nothing like running.
No, but then now I've been just so out of the game. I'll hit like a mile and a half every once in a while. My buddy and I went running this last weekend for like 3.5 miles, and I died. But my biggest issue is the zone issue, bro. I can never stay under like 150 beats.
150 is where I start to feel like I'm losing it.
Yeah.
Like if I stay under 140, that 140 is my golden number. I can cruise all day at 140.
Yeah, I think I just need to stop egoing it and be like, okay, slow down, man.
Another thing is being in Texas, running outside in the summertime. I don't run outside in the summertime unless it's at 5 in the morning or 9 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
You can't, in the middle of the day, dude, like it'll really affect everything. So I either will treadmill it or really early or really late. we're entering that time of year where it's like golden hour for running.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. And that, oh, dude, my wife and I were drinking some wine outside last night, and it's getting a little chillier, but not much. And she just was like, "I can't wait to get cold. It gets cold again." I'm like, "I can't wait to see my breath," because that's where I'm like, "Okay, this is sweater weather.
Yeah.
Like we're vibing now." But yeah, man, I want to talk more about your I guess your office. So what was that transition like from becoming an agent to a broker? Like, was there just some shift that you had to where you're like, I think I'm ready, or did like what's the indicator for realtors to
It's,
make that jump?
it's funny. So, when I got in the business, there was an agent that he was my agent and he was my dad's agent too. So my parents always said, you'd be really you're good at talking to people. You're good at dealing with people. You should get in real estate. I'm like, what? I don't know. Like, I don't even know. So I just, real estate, I think I said this when we weren't recording, but I was working at my family business, and I managed a storage facility. So it was a lot of just sitting there doing nothing, waiting for customers to come in. They come in, they drop their check, they leave. There was nothing. I was like, dude, I'm just sitting here wasting my potential. Like, I'm meant for more than this, right?
Sure.
So I did my real estate classes online, and next thing you know, took my test, I got licensed. Well, I just went to work, and everybody would tell me like, "Oh, it's going to be like it's really hard." And it is hard, dude. I mean, a lot of people don't sell a house for their first 6 months. Well, luckily I got in at the perfect time in 2017 when the market was really kind of taking off, and I sold 14 deals my first year. And it started going really well. And I was just rolling as a single solo sales agent. I'm like, yeah, I'm a realtor, I'm a sales agent. I never really had the desire to get my broker's license. I was happy doing what I was doing. And then that first Remax office dissolved, and pretty much it turned into a Keller Williams office. And I didn't want to go to Keller Williams. So I joined another Remax, kept working there. And then once I moved to League City, I was kind of like stretched in between because I live in League City. I work in Pasadena now. So it's like a longer drive. And I got to a point to where, when when you're trying to do any new venture, at first it's like so overwhelming that you don't think about the next level. Well, I felt like I was being complacent, just kind of,
Hmm.
I was just cranking out, doing the same thing over and over. I was like, okay, what's next? What's next for me? And I didn't even know what was next. I was at my buddy's ranch on a golf trip. We were going to play golf the next day, and his ranch was close by. So we stayed the night at his ranch. And I was talking to his dad, who he's buys and sells, I mean, big commercial properties and stuff. And he was like, yeah, he's been telling me that, his son's a client of mine. He was like, yeah, he was telling me that he likes dealing with you and that you did a good job and everything. And I said, yeah, man, I'd love to work with you, And he goes, are you a broker? I said, no. He goes, oh, man, if you were a broker, I'd use you.
Oh,
And that was it right there. I literally signed up for my broker class when I got home from that trip and took my test. And then I was an associate broker at Remax. And Remax, it was a great place for me to start. I just felt that the the structure on the agent side of it that the consumer doesn't see. EXP is just a lot better aligned with the way I wanted to do things. And the group that I joined with at EXP is the best of the best in the state of Texas.
hmm.
The people above me are. So it was a no brainer for me. And now I'm kind of found myself in a position where I'm an EXP branch office. I'm by myself in South Shore. I'm a broker. So I'm kind of organically already getting people like, hey, are you taking on agents? So I mean, that might be a direction I want to go eventually, but
Sure.
not right this second.
So you're just a one man show right now.
Me and my transaction coordinator, yeah, she,
Okay.
I get the properties under contract. I pass them off to her to take care of make sure the transaction, all the deadlines are met, all the paperwork's done, everything's filed correctly. So yeah, I'm just working on scaling at this point. That's my goal, is to scale this business up and help as many people as I can and figure out the quickest way to get to the top. Yeah.
It might be like a loaded question, but like, what's the top look like for you? Like, what's your goal? Like, I think it's good. I'm a firm believer in putting it out there, right?
Yeah. I mean, my goal right now is to get to where I'm selling 50 properties a year every year consistently.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's an attainable goal. I think I can get past that. But for now, you know, you don't, oh, I want to sell 200 a year. It's like, okay, well, how am I going to do that? Let's set
Sure.
a smaller goal first. It's like saying, oh, I'm going to sail to Australia. Okay, cool. Well, you got a map, you got a plan. Like,
Yeah.
you're just going to get lost.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and that's kind of, I guess, what I was curious about is for everyone out there who might be, a realtor or someone who's considering getting into the industry, what are some tips that you can give them? Like, say, I'm like, you know what, I think I can do this. This Blake guy sounds cool. Like being a realtor sounds sick. As a seasoned, 8-year veteran, right? What are some tips that you'd recommend to some of these newer agents coming into the industry?
That's the loaded question.
Yeah,
So give me 10 minutes here.
give me five, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay. So I say it's a loaded question because it all depends on your personality type, right? So in real estate, you, the money side of things is important because, for example, when I got my license, I walked in, the guy said, come meet with me. And he shoved two pieces of paper in front of me. He said, here's plan A, here's plan B. Plan A was join his team. So you ever heard like, oh, the so and so group or the so and so team?
Oh yeah.
So how that works if you join a team, you're under a team leader. They'll provide you leads, they'll provide you signage, they'll market you. But when you get a paycheck, say you sell a $300,000 property at 3% commission, that's 10 grand. They're going to take 50% of that. So it's a 50-50 split a lot of times. For me, when I started, it was, oh, and you have no monthly fee usually. Like you don't pay monthly.
No
So,
dues. It's not. It's like,
right.
yeah.
They just take it out of your commission.
Huh.
So when I started, the guy was like, you can do that, or you can pay $950 a month. You'll have an office here. You'll pay the Remax fee, but you get 95% of your commission. You just give us 5%. So think about this. Like a lot of people say like, oh, I don't want a monthly fee. Okay. So say you have a month in real estate where you sell, uh, let's just say you make, I mean, if you have a really good month in a really good market, there's months where you make say 30 grand in a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 5% of 30 grand is 1,500 bucks. So yeah, I paid 1,500 in splits and I paid another, call it 1,000 in debt in fees. So that's $2,500. So I kept all but $2,500 of 30 grand. If you're on a team, you paid, instead of 2,500, you paid 15,000 because they took half your commission. So like if you're going to join real estate, it's really worth it to go all in on yourself and take that risk because the upside is so much higher. Like if you get somebody taking half your commission, dude, you'll, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing because you can learn, it's good training. You can learn how to, develop good habits. And then, but I would want to get out of there. Get your training, get to where you have your own business rolling. You're not dependent on your team leader for leads. Then you can go off on your own and do your own thing. I started on my own because I don't want to say I'm any more driven than the next person, but I feel like I have a drive that, and I was kind of a natural at it. I can talk to people, but people really underestimate in real estate how hard it is, dude, because okay. So you start in real estate. Here's your license. You hang your license. Okay, go. Congratulations. Good luck. Now I got to get somebody to trust me to sell the number one asset that they will ever buy, the biggest purchase of their life. So it's not that easy, especially when there's so many agents now that, especially they've been in the business, you're competing with people that have been in the business forever. So you have to really concentrate on generating leads, talking to people. I mean, just calling people like, and you have to be comfortable with asking for business. A lot of people aren't comfortable with, everywhere I go, if I'm at the gym and you're in the sauna, whatever, that's how many times in the gym do you talk to just random people?
Every time.
Yeah. So at the end of the conversation, hey man, my name's Blake, by the way. I'm a broker with EXP. My office is right here next door. Here's my card. If I can ever do anything for you, let me know.
Sure.
A lot of people won't do that for whatever reason,
Yeah, no, and I think you're right, right? Because I've talked to a lot of realtors and, especially some seasoned ones, right? Like it could be intimidating, especially with some of these ones who have been around for a while who have a lot of market share, right? Like they're just the household name. And being a new broker, it probably, or even just I should say a new realtor, it's very hard to probably get your name out there unless, you're just hustling and showing your worth, right? Like, I mean, what are some what are some things though that you would say differentiate yourself from just your everyday realtor? Like what's some pillars or things that you stand on?
I would say one thing that really helped me in the beginning was being with a name brand that people recognize. There's no doubt Remax is still the best. I mean, it's the most recognized brand in real estate. I got to a point where I had developed my name enough around here to where I didn't need them quite really anymore. But I'll tell you, my first year, it's funny enough, my first client I ever had was a walk in, and I was at the office, and he just walked in because it's Remax. So uh, he walked in, I sold him my first deal ever. I'm going to meet his son right after this about joining with me at EXP. It's like it's
Wow,
full
full
circle.
circle.
It's crazy. But what differentiates me, I mean, I have really kind of dialed in like my value bring. I'd have to run you through my listing presentation to show you everything I
Yeah.
can do for sellers. But I mean, you see my social media. I put a lot of time and effort into my social media. Um, when I post a listing, especially around here, you know, I'm in with a lot of the realtors around here. A lot of like big name realtors or realtors that I don't want to say big name, but realtors that do a lot of business in any area. They know all the other realtors that do business.
Sure.
So, you know, hey, I have this listing. I post it. I'm friends with them on Instagram or Facebook. They might have a buyer. I mean, I have been cold calling. You know, if I get a listing, I'll call the neighborhood. Hey, I have this listing. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but if you have any friends or family that are interested, let me know. And you do get a lot of, who's this? Why'd you call me? Well, how'd you get my number? But then you get some people that are like, oh man, I did see that. Can you send me the listing? And, you know, um, get putting in work, dude, because so many realtors there's like 40,000 agents in Houston or something.
Wow.
So you get a lot of people that they do one or two deals a year. They work at the bank and they just have a license, and you're not getting full service with those people a lot of times. Not every time. I mean, I'm not saying that all part-timers are half-assers, but a lot realtors get a bad name that we stick a sign in the yard and wait for a seller or a buyer to come. So, you know, maximize social media, talk to your followers. This is any business owner. How many business owners just don't even talk to their followers? They all follow you, they're all watching your stuff, and you don't talk to them.
No, you're right. I mean, you know, I would assume that you probably know who like Ryan Serhant is.
Oh yeah.
Dude, what's his big thing? The art of following up. Like he said, the reason why he's so successful as a real estate broker now, one of the biggest in New York, look him up, um, is his art of following up with people. He said he's better than anyone else.
So my way of following up is if I ever, you know, talk to somebody about real estate and say, "Hey, yeah, we're looking to buy next year." Okay, so normal person or agent will say, "Okay, well, let me know." Bro, like there's no guarantees in this industry.
Sure.
Like you'll see their house listed next year with someone else, or that you'll see them on Facebook just bought a new house and it's somebody just because you didn't stay in touch, and that's your fault. So what I do is, hey, what's a good email for you? They go into my database. I have a weekly email that I got to go do that after this. I send it every single Friday with market updates, my listings, my sales, what I'm up to, stuff like that. So they see my email every single Friday. They're not going to forget me,
Hmm.
and that's how I do it.
Stay top of mind, man.
That's it.
And what's good about that too is you're kind of creating some sort of funnel too, right? To where, yeah, you're top of mind, but also, hey, here's the new deals that I got coming in. You know, say that one family who's like, oh, I kind of want to get an investment property. They might see it and be like, oh, that's kind of within our budget.
Hmm.
Oh, let's give Blake a call. Um, with that, you know, with what's your thoughts on everything going on right now in the market with interest rates? I saw that they're coming down just a little bit, but do you see that pendulum swinging, or if you had a magic ball, right? Like, where do you see the market in the next year for, you know, I know I have personally a lot of friends who want to buy their first property, or a lot of military veterans that I know who want to use their VA loan finally, but they're just waiting for that interest rate to go down. What's your word to them or advice to them?
So 2024 has been the slowest year for sales in 30 years. I
Wow.
think the slowest year since 1995. We're going to be barely breaking like 4 million transactions. Just for example, want to say, fact check me on this, but I want to say COVID, like height market was like over 10 million transactions. I'm pretty sure. We'll have to fact check that, but it was like
Wow.
something crazy like that. So here's my thought. The number one thing I get with people, like I said, I talk to my followers, message them. Hey, man, everything good? How's the family? Is there anything I can help you with? Anything I can help you get done? Yeah, we want to buy or we want to move, but these interest rates, everyone tells me that. So what does that tell me? That tells me that when rates, and they just hit uh year and a half lows, the lowest that they've been since February of 2023, they just hit that number. Um, when they get low enough, everybody's going to go back to the streets trying to buy property. We are still in a housing shortage, believe it or not. We're still in a shortage. We need to build way more homes. So if you can afford it, if it's not going to financially put you into the red, go do it now. Especially with new construction. New construction incentives are crazy. Like you can get those COVID interest rates. Like they do interest rate incentives to where you can lock in like a 4% interest rate, 5%. I think the average rate right now, though, on the market is now like 6.1. I mean, I was seeing like 7.9 at the worst of it. And that's why the market just stopped, man. And people just, with the combination of higher prices and higher interest, people just had enough of it, dude. Like things are as hard as they are everywhere else in the economy. The groceries, you know, everything about life is just expensive. I can't walk out the door without spending $200, dude.
Oh, I know.
It's ridiculous. So I would say if you're considering doing something, act now because here's what you can do. You can buy it now. You can have choices. You're not having to in 2020, dude, I was taking buyers out. They'd literally that morning, hey, this house just hit the market 5 minutes ago. I'd schedule a showing for that afternoon. By the time I sat down to write an offer, oh, we have 4 offers and 3 on the way. So these people didn't even have time to think about, oh, like, do we even like this house? Like, is this the house that's going to fit our family? Like, is this in the right school district? They just needed a house, and however they had to get it, that's how they had to get it. So now people have choices. So I would say go look at houses, pick the one you want, buy it, and then, dude, say you get a 6.5% interest rate. Historically, that's really not bad. Like people got so spoiled with these 3% rates during COVID that like I don't think we'll probably ever see that again. So say you buy at a 6.5% interest rate right now and they drop next year or the year after, they drop to, 5, you can just refinance the house. And then
Hmm.
you can, I hate to freaking say the most cliche realtor crap, but marry the house, date the right rate. I mean,
Sure.
that's true. I mean, you can always refinance your house. So that's just something to think about.
Yeah, no, and that's been I feel like the general consensus I've been hearing too, right? And I have a buddy of mine, actually goes to the fitness center. I'll have to introduce you to him. He's been aggressively buying new construction homes in the Woodlands area because they're growing like crazy. And I,
Mhm.
I love it up there. It's so quiet, so nice and quaint. But dude, he's been just either paying cash or just getting like crazy, crazy rates on them due to what you just said. And that's like his play. He has, a multifamily 16 unit apartment complex, but, and he's trying to get to 500 doors. Is his goal, right? He's trying to be a full time real estate investor. But with the market and everything, he's kind of pivoted and he's like, dude, I'm going to try to buy as many single family. He's like, I'm just adapting to what the market's telling me I can do right now. And he's like, if I can get more bang for my buck, paying cash for these like new construction houses and already cash flowing, well, that's sometimes better than buying a 16 unit.
Yeah, and as a seller in this market, especially if you're in like I had these awesome sellers, dude, in LaPorte and Morgan's Landing. That's a neighborhood where they've been building there since like 2019. So if you bought a house there in 2019, here we are 5 years from now, they're still selling new construction. So you got to look at it from a buyer's perspective. They're coming to look at your house. If they're getting a loan from a mortgage company, and when we sold, it was like still 7%, they're going to say, okay, this 5-year-old house at 7% or this brand new home at 4. Like it's a no brainer. You go with the brand new one. So like my sellers, I had this conversation where I was like, guys, we've got to offer money up front for these people to buy their interest rate down because you can pay cash and buy your rate down. So they were like, yeah, whatever we got to do. And they did. And we sold the house quick and it worked out for everybody. But It is tricky when you're selling a home in a neighborhood where you have that competition of builders are still in there building. And you just, in this type of market, you have to look at it from the buyer's perspective. But I think this market, it's not going to last much longer, man. When rates come down, what I think is the floodgates will open back up and it'll be bidding wars again. I'm already seeing it this week. I put 4 deals under contract this week. And then I had these set of buyers that every time they send me a house, I asked the agent, hey, y'all got anything going on this? Yeah, we have an offer on the way, or we have an offer, or we've had a lot of activity. Like, it's not just stuff sitting stale like it was.
What's what's like the typical trend right now that you're seeing in what people are looking for homes? Like, is it 3.2s or, like what's like the typical profile?
Yeah, I mean, for you, I mean, how old are you?
31.
31. Okay, I'm 34. So I usually work with people from their mid 20s up to, my parents' age. The younger crowd, yeah, they want like newer stuff in League City or Mont Bellevue. It's so funny. I was thinking the other day, I'm originally from Pasadena, Deer Park area, and it's like everybody that was in that area when I was in high school, they all either left north to Mont Bellevue or south down here, and it's like no one knows there's other options, which is just because so many of them ended up down here. But yeah, they want newer. They want 3 or 4 bedroom. I, unless people have kids, under 3,000 square feet, I would say that's like kind of the max. I think people are getting away from the old school, like 4,000 square feet. People don't want that many square footage. It's just too expensive. The utilities are
It's a
expensive.
lot of upkeep.
The property taxes. So I would say, yeah, just newer stuff under 3,000 square feet. The people want a garage is important. A lot of guys want to put like a gym in their garage or something.
Guilty.
Yeah. I get a lot of people say they want land, hey, we want, something on some acreage in Dayton or Santa Fe or, like stuff like that. But all that's getting expensive, man.
Yeah, I was looking even like when we bought our house, we moved back from Miami when I got out of the military. We bought in League City, right down the road from here, and yeah, I remember we looked in Manville, a bunch of new construction. Looked in Santa Fe because we were like, man, let's get some acres. We want to get chickens. We have chickens anyway, but that was like a big thing for us. And you're seeing that movement, right, of people wanting to live quote unquote off the grid or more self-sufficient. So I think that is becoming like a common trend of more people wanting more land or just autonomy within the land that they have. So it's interesting to see that. And I guess going back to what you were saying earlier, so I guess to increase your chances of getting the home of your dreams or the investment property that is within your budget, I guess you would say just to act now while times are good.
I wouldn't say they're good, but while you have a chance to think, go get what you want, look at several options, narrow it down and pick one and buy it. Because whenever the floodgates open again, it'll just be like by the time you even get to look at it, there's offers and you don't really get it. You just end up buying something just because you need to buy something.
And what do you see happening though with that? When everything gets competitive again, is that going to just then raise the prices again per house because supply and demand, or
prices are projections aren't really worth the paper they're written on a lot of times, but they're projected to go up 5%.
wow?
Like I said, man, until we need to build like 1 million more homes.
Mm.
I mean, we still need to build way more. I know Trump was talking about cutting regulations on new home builds, and doing like ultra low tax zones to help new construction.
Okay.
So maybe that would help. But we need to build way more.
Build, baby, build.
Build. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously whether you're for or against all this immigration, right, coming in, like people need houses.
Mm-hmm. Well, apartments, dude. Like somebody told me the other day, this guy I met and had coffee with, he is a guy that would know, an older guy. He said there's a 2-year waiting list for apartments in Alvin. So like, just look
for
around
construction
as
or
you're just as you're driving around, look at how many new apartment buildings are going up. Because dude, I mean, we're going to, I don't want to get like tinfoil hat here, but We're going to
I'm here for it.
like a rental society. I mean, if you go to, I saw it on 288 the other day in Manville, there's a whole neighborhood where they're not for sale, they're for rent.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, dude, whether you not to go into the tinfoil hat thing, but hey, I'm a big conspiracy theorist. Um, yeah, I mean, it's all off of that one world government, one world,
You'll own nothing and like it.
and be happy, right?
Yeah.
And that falls into that model. I talked to a gentleman who works for a car dealership, and he was telling me that they're even moving that direction with cars now to where you essentially just it's like a membership. You pay X amount of dollars and you don't own the car, but you can it's like a lease model,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of industries going that route with technology and things of that sort.
Remember when you got your first iPhone
Of
and
course.
you would go to the app store and it would be like, "Oh, I'm going to buy this whatever, any app, this game, Angry Birds. It's $2.99.
Mhm.
Bing, buy it." Now it's not $2.99. It's $30 a year, right? So like that's nothing, but you know how much that adds to their revenue? People
Oh,
that
dude.
buy Angry Birds play it once and then forget about it.
And it just auto
Spotify. Everything is going to a subscription base. I saw this thing the other day where you can pay a membership and have access to attorneys. So it's like a subscription. You pay like X amount per month or year, and you have access to a team of attorneys for whatever reason you might need attorneys for. Rather than going and paying an attorney when you need him, you pay for this service.
I've seen that now with dental, a dentist around here. You know, you don't have to go through healthcare. You just pay the subscription, and it's all included. I think the reason, and we kind of do something like that similar here in the studio. The reason being, to be honest, is one, you kind of, you know, it sounds horrible, but you bank on that person setting and forgetting.
Gym memberships.
Honestly, right? Two, it's just more convenient, I think, than just one upfront cost because, you know, then people are buying into, you know, your company, you're keeping the lights on and doing that. So it kind of makes sense. And then, you know, yeah, I just feel like the model does make sense, but when you look at it from like a home perspective or a car perspective, like things that you need, oh, I don't know, man. It also takes the ownership aspect away from it, and we as Americans are we want
We
to
like our freedom. We like our
Yeah.
autonomy. We're
Yeah.
the most autonomous culture. Like we have. I just drove a 2500 HD Duramax diesel here.
Yep.
Why do I need that? I really don't. But I'm freaking American, and I live in Texas. Yeah, I'm gonna drive a diesel pickup. Like, why not? America.
as you should.
Yeah. So I think for services, I get it. Subscriptions, I get it. For my house, I don't think so. I'm like, you would never imagine a gym that, oh, we don't have a membership. Just give us $5 every day you come in here. Like, they would never do that.
No.
Like, you charge by the month. So yeah, I mean, I that's kind of how I feel about it. I think when it comes to like my house, I want to own my house. I want to own my truck. Like, I don't need Big Brother looking over my shoulder because then they can tell you, oh well, you know, you got to return this truck to us in certain. What? Well, dude, what if I want to put 5-inch exhaust on it, or what if I want to lift it, or something? I don't want to be told what to do, man.
No, and I think a lot of people are done with that, and we saw that post COVID, right? Like I think people were just like, no, man, like this is mine. Stop trying to get in my business. It's very much a Texas thing for sure, right? Especially with guns. Like, you know, come and take it. Like, this is mine. Like, you know, I've worked hard for this, so I want it. But one thing, you know, I talked about technology briefly a second ago, but I'd love to hear your take on AI and within the real estate market with the blockchain technology. Now you're starting to see how you can do, you know, NFTs, right? They're talking about like how you can, you know, one day essentially have on the blockchain, you know, a contract for a home and all that. Do you see any of that going that way? And are you utilizing AI at all within your business to automate it, or you know, anything of that sort?
I have heard that maybe they'll do like title work on a blockchain eventually. I don't know how that turns out. The system we have has been in place since the Spanish land grant from Texas. I mean, there's properties that you can literally trace it all the way back to that. I don't know how that looks. NFTs, I heard kind of, that was like all the hype in like 2020 and 2021, the Bored Ape NFT. I heard all that crashed. Is that, I don't know.
Yeah, I have a couple NFTs and none of them are worth their grain of salt.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you utilize ChatGPT for your industry?
This is a secret. Don't tell anybody. But I use ChatGPT to write all my property descriptions.
Yeah.
I'm a math guy. I'm a numbers, math, like digits guy. When I try to write a sentence, it's literally like, I can't write, dude. It's so choppy. I'd be like, this is a great house. 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Like it's terrible. I can't write. So I'll just tell ChatGPT, dude, it's pretty crazy. You could be like, hey, here's the address of this home. Write me a description. And it will, like, it knows where it's at, if it's in like this type of neighborhood, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. Like, it's pretty crazy. So I'll be like, hey, this home has wood floors, granite countertops, high ceilings, a new roof, AC was replaced in 2019, go. And it'll write me like a badass description. Yeah.
It's
So
incredible.
I use that all the time. I know marketing, as far as marketing, I have a service that will, so I have my podcast
Mm-hmm.
and I post it on YouTube, and I can share the link to this like AI. It'll go in and chop up. It'll give me like 100 clips from my podcast.
Opus?
It's dude, I can't think of the name. I have it saved on my browser. Dude, I can't remember.
And you pay a subscription fee?
It's like per year, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $100 a year. So like it'll chop it up, it'll do the captions, it does all that. It's pretty cool.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen similar things with that. And just from a content perspective, I'm for and against that because I think we've came a long way in 2 years from what we can do with AI in the editing, chopping up industry of, that. But, the problem I also have with it, though, is like you don't necessarily always get quality.
So out of 100 of those clips, there's going to be like 10 I could use.
Yeah.
Like it'll just pull crap off the podcast where it was like, we're talking about some random thing that has nothing to do with anything. And you're like, okay, that's not, but you'll get some good. It's more for days where I don't have time. I'm like so busy that I don't have time to like make a video. I'll just grab something off there and post it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in regards to content creation, I would say that you are fairly very active, and you definitely have more followers than most realtors I've seen in this area. Obviously, a lot of them have a big Facebook presence, but like I would say you're crushing it on Instagram, man. Like comparatively to most, realtors on Instagram. What is your take on what you're seeing with trends, even real estate wise, amongst other realtors? Do you think that there's a lot of people really crushing it, or do you think just a lot of people aren't taking it as seriously? Or
Here's the thing with like social media, dude. Like, I'll never forget when I first got in the business in 2017. I would get on Facebook and I would see like whoever it was, closing, new listing, new this, new that. They're always looking so busy. And then it was my 3rd month in the business, and I'm at the office meeting, and they're like, okay, top producers, number 5, so-and-so, number 4, so-and-so, number 3 in sales, Blake Baker. I was like, me? They were like, yeah, get up here. I'm like, dude, I had 2 closings that month. And I'm like, so I was number 3 in this whole office with 2 closings. I literally thought that all these other agents were selling like 8 to 10 deals a month. Just based off what you see on Facebook, I was like, oh, they're doing like 10 a month. Like,
they're killing it.
yeah. So followers, like we're in such a social media. Dude, I saw this sign.
Vanity metrics.
I saw this sign the other day for this real estate team, and it was like on the billboard, it said, we have this many followers on Instagram. Bro, like followers does not equate to closings.
A lot of them are bought.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. But followers doesn't equate to closings. Like I know agents that they don't use social media and they make $500,000 a year. So like, don't think just because you're good on social media and you're like an influencer, like being an influencer and being an agent is 2 different things. I'm not saying you can't do both, but you can't skip the work that goes into being a good agent. And it's a grind, and you can't get out of it. There's no getting around it.
Now, would you say though that creating quality or educational or good content has definitely helped your business, or is it kind of
1,000%?
Yeah.
And it has to be stuff that people can engage with and stuff that they get value out of. For example, again, my first year in real estate, I learned so much that year. It was like, who would have thought, but there was agents in my office that would pay for these services. It's like, oh, this is my social media marketing service, and I pay $100 a month and it posts for me. Dude, no one wants to see, here's 3 home buying tips for, here's your fall Thanksgiving recipe for the fall season. No one cares, dude. People want to see your face. They want to see you in camera telling them something of value. They want to see what you're up to. Like, it has to be you.
Sure.
You can't outsource like your social media. You can outsource the quality. Like, they can come hire you to make better quality content, but they can't hire you to, hey, I want you to post on my Instagram for me. Like that, it will not work. Like, it has to be you. It has to be genuine.
Yeah. No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that that's one area that I'm really trying to get out there and really start pushing to people, real estate agents, home service industries, just anything that's high ticket, because, dude, I am so tired of seeing real estate videos. Hey guys, I'm blah, blah, blah with blah, 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 blah. Come with me on this cool home tour. Dude, it's so played out. And I don't know if they teach you guys that in the course with social media, but it's just, people are just following like blind ducks, just like, oh, well, that sounds cool. Like, I'm going to do the same thing. The most success I've seen is, I have a buddy in Houston, Backwater Creative. He does like luxury real estate walkthrough videos and stuff. And I was with him on a property, and, these realtors were saying like, okay, yeah, so we're going to say like, hey, we're blah, blah, blah with this real estate group. Here's the listing price. And he literally stopped them. Like, he's like, no, we're not doing that. He's like, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a sick hook and go into it. And he goes, if it's a good property, it should sell itself. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need you to tell me it has a 3-bedroom. Like, you can put that in the description.
So I had a listing. It was a new construction listing for Kemah Homes in Sedona. So me and my guy went over there to shoot a video, and my hook was, so what they were doing on this house was offering $40,000 flex cash. So say you go to buy this house, it's $450,000. They're going to say, okay, we're going to give you $40,000 in credit. You can take it off the price. You can put it towards your interest rate buy down. You can use this $40K any way you want. So rather than saying, I'm Blake Baker with eXp Realty, and this is my listing at 2835 Bisbee Road in beautiful League City, Texas. No, I said, 40,000 flex cash, any way you want to use it on this new construction. Let's check it out. Like, okay,
I'm hooked.
So 40 grand in my pocket. Okay, let's see what you're talking about. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bet you got really good engagement on that video.
Better than all the other stuff I posted.
As you should have,
Yeah.
right? And I think that more realtors need to be doing stuff like that. Like, there's a ad I was running, and I wasn't really getting a lot of hits recently, but I think it's a great offer, dude. And I've been trying to figure out how to marry my studio with business owners, or that niche demographic that I'm trying to go after, to where, you can come in the studio, we'll shoot 3 months of viral content or viral hopeful content in 8 hours, right? And it's like 40 videos, right? You can get 40 pieces of content, like you said, with the quality aspect. You can get all of that shot in one day, out the door, go back to selling.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would come do that, because here's my problem is, when I get busy like I've been this week, I don't have time to go home, sit down, get everything. I mean, it takes me to shoot like one really good video. It takes me a couple hours, because then I edit it myself in Premiere Pro. Like, I'd rather pay someone to do that. I'm moving to a mentality of, why am I going to try to figure something out and spend so much time learning how to edit, and like all this stuff that you have in this studio is so far over my head, dude. Why would I not pay you, because you're the expert on all this stuff?
Yeah.
My time is worth more. Like, you got to look at it to, what am I worth per hour? So if I do the math, just for an example, if my work is worth $50 an hour, my time is not going to be better spent learning how to do Premiere Pro.
Well, it's chasing shiny object syndrome of like, well, this guy's doing it, so I need to do it too. And you're right. And I'm learning that in my business too, right? Like, I don't like posting social media stuff. I There's so many things I just despise about even my business to where I'm eating the cost. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna pay someone to do it or partner with someone, and it's a win-win. And because I've had so many clients in the past, and they're like, dude, we love your content. Can you post it for us too? And I said, absolutely not. That's not my you as a realtor, would you hire someone to would you inspect the home yourself? Obviously, if you had this, no. Or would you shoot? No. Like, you put systems in place and you hire the right people who do that specific thing really well. And it's one thing that you don't have to do now.
So for example, when I first got in the business, people were like, yeah, here's my transaction coordinator. I'm like, okay, well, what do you pay her? $400 a file. So that means from the time I execute a contract, I pass it off to her. She does all the compliance stuff, any addendums that need to be written, any negotiations. She does all the paperwork. She files it all. At first, I was like, $400? Like, I could just do it myself.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point later where I was like, okay, I kind of see why people pay other people to do this because I freaking hate this.
Yeah.
Now I pay her every file I get. Alicia, she's freaking awesome. I send her the file. I can go, instead of sitting there doing hours of paperwork trying to get my transaction filed for compliance, and then they kick it back, and then you have to like redo stuff. It's just, I hate it. So she does all that for me. I pay her to do it. She is amazing at it, and I'm not that good at it. And I can go spend my time with my son. I can go to the gym. I can go have lunch with clients. I can go market. I could go make videos. I can spend my time how I want to spend my time. And you're buying, I don't know if you know Dan Martell, but he has a whole deal about buying back your time. I'm in his coaching program. So like, that's the number one thing where it's like, why are you wasting time? Like, I would never waste time doing that.
Exactly. Well, yeah. And it comes, yeah, dude, it gets you bogged down from doing the things you want to do. And that's one service that I just feel like I can really bring value to this area so well on. And dude, it's crazy because I would have thought that I'll tell you the pitch, right? I had an ad, and it was, we will shoot 3 months worth of content in our studio in 8 hours for you. It's 40 videos, and it was $4,000. That comes out to $100 a video of shot, edited, scripted, ready to go for you, right? And I was like, man, this is a great deal. There's really, I'm not even really making a lot of money on this. It's more or less one day of work for me in the sense of shooting, to where I'm like, okay, now I don't have to go to this person's office, or they have to, multiple. It's just one-stop shop. And I would have thought, that I would have got more traction, and I just haven't, dude. And I don't know what it is about this area. I don't know if realtors or just business owners just don't see the value in it, or if it's, times are just tough with. It could be
It's a little bit of both. You got to get younger crowd if you want to do social media stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, my goal right now is to scale my business. So, if you're doing 10 to 20 deals a year, I could do all my own paperwork. I could do everything myself. If I want to get to where eventually, if I'm doing 100 deals a year, that's a closing every 3 days. You would drown. It would be a full-time job just to do the paperwork. You physically could not do all the paperwork. So you're going to hit a glass ceiling. Have you ever heard of the 80-20 rule?
Briefly.
So it's like 20% of what you do controls 80% of the results. So like, my new 20% is really scaling my social media, talking to more property owners, marketing more, rather than, oh, I had a busy day today. I had to go, I had to write all these contracts, and I had to file all it's called doing your, like a commission disbursement authorization, a CDA. It's where you turn in all your paperwork to the brokerage for them to write off on it and say like, okay, all your initials are done, everything's good. So you'll spend all day doing that. And it's like, oh, I had a really busy day today. It's like, okay, well, you did nothing that added income to your job. So like, I want to get rid of doing that stuff and concentrate on the things that
Are propelling.
are going to move me forward. Because like, what got me to where I'm today is not going to get me to that next level. right? Like
Yeah.
you don't see Elon Musk on. I've said this before on my podcast, so forgive me if you've listened.
You can put
to
a
it.
shameless plug in too.
Oh yeah, the Under Contract podcast on YouTube. Just search Blake Baker Realtor on YouTube. Should pop right up. But you don't see Elon Musk on the assembly line at Tesla bolting bolts into a car. Like he's never probably even been. I mean, he probably has. He's crazy, but you have to delegate. You have to hire. You have to get employees. You have to build a business. Like there's very few businesses where you can really make real money by yourself.
Yeah, and the ones that tell you that you can do it, they're full of crap, right? Like, there's how many businesses do you see on Instagram?
Especially in real estate. Oh my God. Oh, the BRRRR. Yeah. Go take out 100% loan on this rental property. Like, dude, people go so crazy with debt now. Like the cool thing now is like, oh, we want debt. We want more debt. It's like until the market turns, and then you're stuck with 20 grand a month in house payments because you hawked all these rentals like 100%. Like you leveraged yourself to the gills on these rentals. And yeah, I mean, the Instagram real estate hype market. I don't know if you've seen that guy that's like
Chris Crone.
I want to own 10,000 companies.
Oh, you talking about Gino the goat, like the guy who mocks them all?
No, that guy's hilarious. And he's like
10 rental properties before you're 30.
Yeah. All you got to do is, why would you waste time sleeping? I sleep 4 hours a night. I just want to I'm so excited about what I do. I don't want to sleep. You make $1 million. You're 10 doubles away from $1 billion. 1, 2, 4, say, da, 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 da. And he's like, well, why don't you just billion the billion?
Dude, have you seen Chris Crone? It might be the guy you're talking about, the guy with the mustache, blonde hair, and he always says cash. And he's like, I want to be a trillionaire.
Yeah.
That guy, and you're like, dude, shut up.
Dude,
like, you're so ridiculous.
But the thing is like the younger crowd now,
they love it.
I talk to people that they just think that like they just take that at face value. Like, dude, beware of anything you see on Instagram. Anybody making real money, say if you have a guy that's making $10 million a year, he's not going to be down your throat trying to like sell you some course on how to do this or that. And I also say, and I'm not saying they're not out there, but anybody who's super young and tries to act like they've done all this stuff, like, dude, success takes time. Like
real success.
Yeah, real success takes time. And I'm not saying they're not out there. I mean, there's some super smart young people that like in tech especially that they've made some app and yeah, they're overnight 10 millionaires. But just be careful about who you take advice from. I like to take advice from people that I can verify that, like, so the guy that, this guy named Ronnie Matthews, I've had him on my podcast. He was the #1 real estate team in Texas for 18 years. He owned a title company that had 12 locations, Great American Title. That's where my wife, she used to work there. He sold the title company. He's a guy where I can look at his track record. For sure, this dude has been successful in everything he's done. So when I have something I don't quite know, I call him, and I know what he tells me is going to be like rock solid advice as I would get from anybody. Like you have to be able to, the old Russian proverb, trust but verify.
Yeah, no, you're right. And back to the whole get rich thing. Like I'm reading a really good book right now. It's called The Fast Lane Millionaire, and it goes over how there's 3 different types of people. Right, you have your slow laners, your sidewalkers, and your fast laners, right? Your slow laners are, I got a 401k, I invest my money every month in it, company match, like work for the man. Like when I get to 65, I'm going to be financially free. You have your fast laner on the other end of that, who is like your app developer or a guy who grinded for 5 years and sold his business for $15 million, right? And in the book, it was saying how we need to get, the whole get rich quick thing is, he said, so many people are so against that term, and it's became such like a scammy word. But he was saying how you can get rich quick. He goes, what you need to be leery of is its cousin, get rich easy.
Mm-hmm.
And the get rich easy is what you're seeing on Instagram with a lot of these kids, to where they're like, want to know how I made $1 million in 6 months? Like they're waiting for you to buy their course because you're the gullible one. And let's be honest, dude, like I'll be 100% honest, and you're probably the same way. if I made $10 million a year doing drop shipping or whatever, what makes you think I'm actually going to teach you how I did that? Because then you're going to steal my market share, dude. Like they're selling their course. They're not giving you all the details.
If I sell a business for 10 million bucks, I put that money in investments. If I make call it 5% a year, that's $500,000 a year. I'm making an interest. That's let's see, 12 times 50, that'd be six. So $45,000 a month in interest.
Way more than I could ever.
I'm
live on.
chilling.
Yeah,
I'm traveling. I'm buying a nice house and chilling. Like I'm not gonna go like, and I mean, I'm not saying that there's not guys out there that want to help people. So like maybe if you get to a point to where you're just successful and you enjoy helping others, maybe you become a mentor or something like that. But you got a 22-year-old kid on TikTok with the freaking curly haircut.
Dude, I call it the bird's nest.
Or the broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like VeggieTales. Just be careful, man. Be careful.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. And yeah, be very leery. And I think the good things take time. And if you want it to be sustainable, like be comfortable with.
I think anything you really try, like this whole deal right here, like I feel like you got to do it for about 5 years to figure out like, okay, I like this. This is going to work, or this is sucks and it's not going to work.
Well, and I think even with this, and little backstory real quick on this, right? Dude, the money that it got invested into this was for real estate. My wife and I were really trying to buy a bunch of real estate investment properties. We were looking into subject to, we were looking into owner finance, short-term rentals. Like we were trying to do all those other routes, right? Creative, Pace Morby, the whole. And so I was like really getting sold on it. I'm like, dude, we could do this. This
Subject to is
it's a scam. It's not a scam, but it's very hard.
Well, people don't realize. Like I had this listing that it was a situation where the house wasn't going to sell normally. So I got, dude, literally 50 to. I would get 3 or 4 subject to calls a day for like weeks. And for people that don't know what subject to is, it's basically they take over your payments, take over the deed, and then the loan stays in your name. Yeah, the seller's name. So it's like you give someone the deed to your house while still keeping the loan in your name, but they pay the note for you, and then eventually they refi the house and then pay your loan off, and then you're out. So like maybe if you're going to foreclose on it anyway, like for sure we're going to foreclose. Let's just try to subject to it out and get out of the foreclosure. That's okay. You're going to foreclose either way. So it doesn't matter. But like, yeah, I don't see how people find sellers that are like open to do it. Like, yeah, let's do it. What?
Well, so the problem I ran into with it was there was a couple really nice newer construction houses, and it was like a family that was moving to California, and they stalled the house and they couldn't sell it, and we were trying to get in on it. And the problem we were running into, man, is you really have to almost marry that couple in a sense, because it's like
you're gonna be in proverbial in bed with them for a couple years.
100%. But not only that, you have to do it all under the radar of the loan company finding out. Like all of this has to be like low key. Like if anyone finds out, they can call the loan.
Well, dude, that's the thing is like people don't realize like say you go buy a new construction home at a badass interest rate and then you never live in it and you rent it out. That's mortgage fraud.
Yeah.
Like people don't think about that. Like it is straight up. So
yeah,
like you're really supposed to get a commercial loan or like the bank needs to know that you're not going to live in there. Like if they came and like looked, it would be.
How often do you think they look though?
Never.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say if something ever happened, like say if you missed a payment, then they might come see like, hey, what's up? Like we sent you,
Mr. Jones. Hey, I'm not Mr. Jones.
Yeah, we sent you a letter. We sent you a certified letter, and someone else answered the door. I don't know. I mean, I've never heard of it, but I'm not.
I'm too paranoid.
I am too.
Like,
I'm not that guy.
I'm not that. There's some, high risk, high reward. If you're that guy, go for it. But me and my family, we're not doing that. And,
not worth it.
And if that title company finds out, or like, dude, the issue that was keeping me up at night, where I was like, dude, what if they don't completely like me not really knowing in detail 100% really what subject to is and having it under my belt to even have all the knowledge, like, okay, let's just say I was able to get one of these families on board and they're like, okay, cool. And then they reach out to the title company and they're like, oh, well, we're doing this deal with them. Even if it was accidental, right? Like them letting them know what happened, they could call it. And the two scenarios that I read up on that could be the issue is they call the loan and you have to, if like you have to either pay the house in cash
Or foreclose.
or foreclose.
Yeah.
And you lose your money.
Mm.
So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And and then I was just trying to buy investment properties and just nothing was working out. I felt like every door was being closed. And then we came upon this place and I had a crazy dream. God came to me in a dream and just to do something like this. And this has always been kind of like a passion of mine. And I look at it as instead of having like a monthly tenant, I have hourly tenants, right? So it's picking up, but yeah, man. I mean, I'm very much for real estate investing and being a veteran, and I've still yet to use my VA loan.
Yeah, man. You go use it. If anybody deserves, a chance at housing, it's our veterans.
Yeah.
I mean, they've given so much, guys like you, and we appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you were in combat or anything or not, but
not overseas. I was in the Coast Guard.
okay. So, but still, man, you're risking your life out there,
Mhm.
especially like in the Atlantic Ocean on a helicopter. Like it's gnarly. So,
Yeah.
first responders, veterans. How can you send a guy to Iraq and he gets, you're not going to come back without some collateral damage if you see combat, like mentally or physically or whatever it is. And like, why, like, we owe them so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, housing is the minimum of what they should get.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, depending on who wins this election, we'll see who gets that housing, right?
We'll
But
see.
I think you're right, man. But I know you have a meeting today, and I don't want to keep you too long. But I just wanted to take the time to say thanks, obviously, for coming on, and use this time also to kind of shout your socials out there, how people can get a hold of you and reach out to you if they need a home or want to, maybe be a candidate for a potential real estate agent on your brokerage one day.
Yeah, man. So my website is just blakebaker.net. That's going to be the easiest way to get a hold of me. All my Instagram, my YouTube, my phone number. There's a call me button. You could give me a call. My Instagram's at Blake Baker Real Estate. YouTube is Blake Baker. I think it's Blake Baker Houston Real Estate Broker. The Under Contract podcast on YouTube. TikTok, Blake Baker Real Estate, Facebook, Blake Baker Realtor, and my personal, just Blake Baker. Feel free to add me. And I brought you a little gift here.
Oh, man. Thank you. What we got?
We got the Blake Baker Real Estate NASCAR t-shirt.
Yo.
So,
dude, I'm going to be rocking that.
Yeah, man.
That is fire. Thanks so much, brother.
Absolutely.
You'll have to come back on the pod in, I don't know, maybe a couple months and just give us an update on how everything's going on your end. And dude, I just pray blessings over you and your business. And dude, it's a great relationship that we've started. And I look forward to keeping in touch with you, bro.
Same, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All
right, guys. Thanks for watching and be blessed, be wonderful, and have a great day.
See you.